Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror film from the USA, English language, released in the year 2019, directed by Orson Oblowitz, and this film is called Hell is Where the Home Is. So Hell is Where the Home is also known in the United States as Trespassers, so if you can't find it under one title, please look for it under the other. So the story to Hell is Where the Home is about two couples, they're friends, they want to relieve themselves of their stressful day-to-day lives, so they decide to spend a weekend together and renting a very luxurious house in the middle of nowhere. So they get there, they start drinking, they start having a bit of a laugh, but unfortunately there are some secrets surrounding these couples that actually threatens to destroy everything that they've built as far as friendship is concerned. But if they believe that this is the worst of their problems, they have another thing coming upon the arrival of a neighbour late on this evening who says that her car's broken down, that she needs to use the phone because she needs to call a tow truck. So she says that she knows the owners of this house, everything is okay, and reluctantly the friends allow her inside. So she goes to the phone, but unfortunately this is the start of their nightmare as they realise she has actually brought a dangerous presence with her. So that dangerous presence is going to make their lives into a living nightmare, and whether or not they can actually survive this ordeal is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Hell is Where the Home Is. This movie came with a lot of hesitation. Now I'm a massive fan of the subgenre of home invasion. I believe that this is a subgenre that can really put you into the moment. It's a situational kind of horror, and when it's done properly it can be very, very nerve-wracking. So you've got films such as The Strangers, you've got the French film Them, and you've got a Spanish film called Kidnapped. Now these are three films that did home invasion absolutely fantastically well. These are three films that I absolutely adore, especially the Spanish film Kidnapped. That was one of the nastiest and cruelest horror films I'd seen in a very long time. So if you haven't seen these three films, please do yourself a favour and check them out. But since these three films, there have been a lot of other movies that just recycle same ideas, and because you're recycling same ideas, that in turn brings a level of predictability, which in turn brings a level of boredom. Basically, you've seen one, you've seen them all. So Hell is Where the Home is definitely a film that I had that hesitation, I had that skepticism based on the fact that it was a predictable sort of premise, is that, bad things are going to happen to these people who are inside their home. Are they going to be able to fight off this evilness? So they were the hesitations coming into the film, but I was hoping that this is going to surprise me, is that a lot of people didn't like this movie, but for me, I judge a film based on what I like, and I was hoping that this would be at least a memorable experience, and it's an experience that I wouldn't regret. And fortunately, it was definitely an experience I didn't regret. In fact, I would say it was actually quite an entertaining experience. Now, this is not a movie that's going to win awards. It's not a brilliant film, but it doesn't really strive out to be a brilliant film. What this movie is a demonstration of competency, a demonstration of capable directing that makes Orson Oblowitz definitely a director that is of a very interesting nature. So this is a film that does have on the outside a very simplistic and very basic plot. As I said, bad things trying to get inside this home and these people trying to fight off the oncoming onslaught. But on the inside you have a web of complexity and twists and turns to the story that prevents you from looking at your watch. And that, I believe, was very skillful from Orson Oblowitz. Is that, yes, he does have a premise that you've seen before, but he does take the rug from under you and he does disorientate you. And so you want to know what this director is trying to do. Is that just when you think you know where the story is going, he takes the rug from under you and you're left in a completely different direction. And when the bad things start to happen, it goes at a breakneck speed, and so there is a level of disorientation, and you feel as though you need to have a breather. But the director doesn't allow you to have the breather, and so the safety barrier is non-existent in this movie. And you've also got a level of violence that is very unpredictable. Yet the level of violence really outstretches the confines of decency, confines of PG-13. This is definitely not one of those types of movies. And the level of extreme violence actually surprised me in some instances, and therefore it creates a level of unpredictability, not only in the twists and turns in the story, but the violence. And because you don't know how far this director is going to push you with that violence, you don't know how bad this threat is actually going to be. And so I thought that was a welcome surprise. That was definitely something that I was not expecting, and more of this needs to be applauded. And I think that Orson Oblowitz, he did take a big risk, and I think those risks worked. Yes, the movie can be convoluted, but I don't believe that it was hard to follow. So I don't share the popular opinion that this movie is too convoluted for its own good, and that it does get in the way of enjoying the film. I just believe that the overall convoluted nature prevents the movie from ever getting boring. And I always thought this is something I haven't seen within the overall idea that I've seen done time and time again. So not only do you have the unpredictable nature of the film, but you also have a very competent way of storytelling on a visual base. And what I mean by that is that there are different tones in the film. Whether it's at the start of the movie where they're having fun, you've got the visuals that have a very light-hearted approach, but then when the really bad things start to happen, it becomes very visceral, becomes very dirty, very neon lighting. And that neon lighting just captures the nightmare that these characters are actually going through. And I really like that. It actually made me feel really dirty based on the visual, the visual ability that this movie has. And so production-wise, it is of a very, very high standard. And also the soundtrack, I thought, really matched the mood and emphasised that really dirty and nasty feeling that the movie possesses around every corner in the last, say, quarter of this experience. So, as I said, the violence is really, really heavy. You've got visuals that are very impressive, and you've also got that level of unpredictability within the confines of that predictable sort of story and the premise that you've seen done before. So that is the reason why I come away from this movie actually quite surprised. If I have problems with the film itself, I would say that the characters, especially the victims of this film, they are very forgettable. They aren't likeable at all. I thought there was no real time and attention to actually developing anyone that you could really root for. It's more a case of seeing how far the violence will go, seeing where the actual director is trying to take you. But as far as characters are concerned, I thought it would have been a lot better if it actually gave a little bit more relatability. They were very annoying, and this is definitely a stereotypical sort of character in a horror film that you just is cannon fodder. You want to see dispatched in a horrible way. So the level of intrigue in the way that the plot is going keeps you interested. It sustains that level of interest. The violence, as I said, is very hard hitting, so there's unpredictability in that area. But I just think that those two positives that the film has, they would have been emphasised even more had the characters had complemented those impressive qualities. And so that was the biggest criticism of the film, is that the characters don't really go anywhere. I thought the script could have been a lot better, but I thought the villains were great. There is a cameo from Fairuza Balk, who is a very well-known actress. If you are a fan of this actress, then you're definitely going to appreciate her appearance. It's a cameo. I have to stress that it is a cameo. A lot of people have been disappointed, saying that they expected something more from her, but it's always good to see a familiar face on screen, and she plays the neighbour that comes in to make the phone call, and I think that she really starts off the creepy vibe that this movie possesses. And so there are annoying moments, there are cliched moments, but amongst the cliche moments there is a level of difference. There's a level of unpredictability and complexity that actually makes this movie worth watching. So it's not a film that's going to win any awards, but it doesn't really try to win any awards. So for that, I have to give it credit. It's not brilliant, but it's certainly a movie that's worth your time for at least one viewing. I come away from it liking it more than I thought I would. So overall, for home, Hell is Where the Home Is. I'm going to give this one 2.5 stars. Go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.